Hi there, and welcome back to Stubbs Aquatics. This episode is going to be an update on my barbs and my barb issues. I'm also going to be demonstrating and, well, proving that not all barbs are fin nippers, and I'm going to prove that by putting them in with some of my loved Shubunkins. You know what I think about my Shubunkins and that I breed them for their long tails. So, am I taking a huge risk by putting some of my best Shubunkins in with barbs? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Anyways, I'm going to take you through a tour of my barb tanks, starting out with one you've seen just a bit of, and that is my bar tank. And this is my oldest tank that I have in my house. It's, well, it's probably 35 years old. No problems on, knock on wood. It's as you can see, it's a planted tank, and well, I've got my tiger barbs, my ruby barbs. There's some cherry barbs in there, and checkered barbs. The rubies and the tiger barbs get along just perfectly. Cherry barbs are about the most peaceful barb that one can think of. I only have 3, because that's all they had when I bought them, and they've done great. My checkered barbs are doing pretty good. There are probably about 5 in there. They are pretty meek and mild when there's only a few numbers, and they stay pretty much to the lower end of the tank. There's no real aggression in this tank at all, other than, you know, species to species, as in tiger barbs on tiger barbs and rubies when they're in spawn. As you can see, most of the black rubies are have their spawning colors on, simply because I've given them a few feeds of brine shrimp. Brine shrimp will always bring on the coloration of ruby barbs, and that way you can tell generally which ones are your females. I can see about 2 to 3 females in here, and the rest are all males, which is pretty much normal these days when it comes to barbs. It's really hard to, when you buy barbs, most of them put just males in, which is a shame, because female barbs, well, they help control the males, and it's, you know, if you want to breed them and you want your barbs to behave properly, you need a good ratio of male to female. In fact, I would prefer to have more females than males. Well, let's go on to the next tank. Currently using my 30-gallon here as a housing for my broodstock of Odessa barbs. You're going to see a little bit of methylene blue in here, simply because I have one Odessa that, well, damaged his mouth, probably in sparring with other males, and I don't want to have mouth rot in my tank. You'll also notice 2 filament barbs. I saw 2 together, and that's all they had. Was not going to take the chance on not getting them. I've just stirred up a bit of the bottom, so that's why you're getting a bit of a sediment moving around. Coloration on these male Odessas are stunning. And look at the size of those female Odessas. They are absolutely huge. I'm going to keep them for one more season, let them spawn out, and then I'll retire them to my 100-gallon tank. As far as the filament barbs, they'll spend one more week in this quarantine, and probably one more dose of methylene blue, just to ensure. I don't need a chance of spreading this around. And you also notice I have some, well, I have 7 Corridoras in this tank. Currently, I don't have a huge filter in here. I just have air bubblers. I think I'll probably put a little corner power filter in here. It just seems to work so much better, especially if I've just stirred up something, and sediment should say, because that's the last thing I want to look at. It's suspended crud in my water column. But the fish, other than the one male with a bit of a sore mouth, are doing really well. You can see them there. It's not fuzzy or anything. He's damaged it, and well, it happens, and I just don't want to have it spread and get sick, so I gave him a bit of dousing with methylene blue. Better safe than sorry, especially after that last episode I had with them. Look at the coloring on these male Odessas. And I've just stirred everything up, so they should be more in hiding and not showing their colors as much, but they certainly are not shy about demonstrating and showing off their coloration. And they're not even in spawn. Well, let's continue on with more barb tanks. This is my 30-gallon fry tank. As you can see, these babies are growing like crazy and always demanding food. Their color is starting to pop even. Definitely going to have to find more tanks and more tank space for these guys. And if you don't know, I've got 3 types of barbs in here right now, being Rosy Barbs, Odessa Barbs, which are the vast majority, and Gold Barbs. As the Gold Barbs get bigger, I'll just move those in with or their parents. This is my second fry tank, and they are doing just as well. Got a mixture of fake plants and live plants in here. The other one has all live plants. I just need to put some better substrate in this. But they are really growing well. Off to the Gold Barb tank. This is probably one of my favorite tanks. It's pretty simple. Got a pump at the one end, and it simulates a stream, and the barbs really seem to like it, and it gives it that natural look. Got lots of plants going, and of course some Gara. Do have some Daniels in this tank, and a couple white clouds. I should move the white clouds to another tank, but in this dense vegetation, they're just too hard to catch unless I drain her down. And I try to cover the tank as best I can with some wood and lots of plants. Try to make it look as natural as possible. I'll go to my Odessa tank. It's a 100-gallon tank where I've got a cesium filter at the one end and a corner filter going, plus a sponge filter. do love my Odessa barbs. They have just amazing coloring. And they're always so active. Also got White Cloud Mountain minnows in here. A pretty big school, actually. And, of course, I've got Melon Barbs that like to hang out around the bottom. There is a couple bristlenose plecos in here. There's one hiding. And all live plants. Just added a better lighting system to this, so I won't have any issues with my plants being too leggy. So they're starting to thicken up already. But that's for another video. This too has to be one of my all-time favorite tanks. This is my 125 planted tank, where I've got one of my favorite barbs of all time. That's my Arulius barbs. Mixed in with them are some Filament barbs. Since they were sick, the ones that survived have really grown well and are getting quite big. They'll probably max out at about 6 inches, but these Arulius barbs are going to be about 4 inches. They're probably that right now. We're just getting to the moon phase in this aquarium. That's why the lighting is the way it is. I apologize. These are one active barb. They do swim in a school nicely, and the filaments on these Arulius are spectacular. They're almost like there's a thread-like fin on the dorsal. When they're in spawn mode, they're really showing it off. There are 3 bristlenose plecos in this one as well. And this is all naturally planted and dirted with a capping of soil and then gravel. Well, let's go take a look at the Rosy Barb tank, where I've got my some of my Shubunkins in there. Well, if you thought barbs are all nippy, look at the fins on some of these, and those Shubunkins, that's a good quality Shubunkin that I wouldn't want to take the chance on, and they're fine. I do have some live plants in here. They will get eaten by both the goldfish and the barbs, and I'm okay with that because I have a ton of it. The extra I just feed to the goldfish anyways. And you'll see more of my goldfish on an upcoming video. These are last year's fry. Well, thanks everyone for coming along on this tour of strictly my barb tanks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. Think about subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, and I won't ask anything of you. Hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Remember to stay tuned for upcoming videos on my Shubunkins that I just brought in, and I hate bragging about them, but these are the best quality I've ever produced, and I think you're going to be amazed. So watch out for that video that's coming your way real soon. Well, take care, everyone. Thanks again, and we'll see you real soon. Bye for now.